Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, can I have you guys put your masks on? Thank you.
Testing. 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 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello. We're going to get started very shortly. I just want to make a few reminders as we're finishing up. Please remember to be wearing your mask at all times during the ceremony, regardless of vaccination status. We do have ushers and our community health team within the audience themselves. So if you have questions about where to find the restroom, or if there's challenges with masks, we're happy to help you and step in at any time. But we'll get started very soon, and we're so welcome to have you.
got water over here. I'll get you some more right now too, okay? It's a little drippy, so be careful. Can I get you guys one more, okay?
Good morning and welcome to everyone. Welcome to the graduating class of October 2021.
Good morning. I see the sun is very hot this morning, so I think my part, I'll give you the short version. I know that, well, this is the first time in a year and a half that we have had one of these ceremonies. And during that time, there's not a single person out here who has not gone through many kinds of experiences, including great loss. But today, we're going to emphasize the joy of these young people who, when they go out into the world, and as the years go by, people will say to you, what was it like then? What did you go through? So keep a diary, write, keep recording. Some of you may write a play or a film about it, or a poem, or a movie, or tell your children. There are no words, both up and down, to describe what we've been through. But you are here. Now, why are you wearing these strange gowns? What do these mean? Well, they celebrate your accomplishment. They started them in about 11-something, 1,000 years ago. And to this day, we wear them, and these are to honor you. Schooling, academics have been around for thousands of years. The Greeks, you know. And what did they emphasize? What did they teach? Well, very briefly, language, good. Rhetoric, speaking and writing persuasively. Logic, always good to know something logically, even if you don't do it. You've got to know why you're not doing it. I think nowadays we refer to critical thinking, logic. And then followed by arithmetic, practical, geometry, what's up in the sky, the stars, astronomy, the calendar, how to sail a ship, when to plant your crops. But the crowning achievement of education in those days, the highest attainment, was the science of music. And up until about 200 years ago, Western education included music among the sciences. Isn't that interesting? Only fairly recently did some wise people decide that, well, no, music isn't a science, it's an art. Well, it is an art, but somehow it's a little degrading. It is also a science and a high, high attainment. According to them, what new? So I congratulate you. We haven't covered all of those subjects with great detail, but hopefully you have a core, and that the core of your learning is, I don't know enough. And may the end of your learning, at the end of your time, be, I don't know enough. I know something, but there's more to learn. And as Socrates said, why? Why? Well, forgive me for dwelling on the Greeks, but they did get language down. And it's important today that we agree in our language on certain basics, that the same definition. I go no further than the traffic corner. Does everybody here understand that green means go and red means stop? Yeah. It's very important, isn't it? Yeah, well, there are a few basic words like that that we must all come to agreement on. Otherwise, we'll run into each other and cause accidents, in the large sense as well as the small. I said I'd give you a short version. The last speaker to speak at our graduation ceremony here, 1.5 years, 18 months ago, was the speaker you're having this morning. Isn't that a good balance? You see her credits, you know who she is, and so I want to present her now to you. We're so proud of her, and it's such a pleasure to pronounce her beautiful name, Vasti Monpoint.
Hello, everyone. How are you? To my graduates, I have a favor to ask of you. Can you please close your eyes? I want you to remember that very first day you knew this is what you were going to do. Dancing around your room to cast recordings, watching movies, and imitating the monologues with tears in your eyes at the age of 12. Bothering your parents and asking them for classes and missing birthday parties and all of the things. Remember that moment. You decided to dedicate your life to art. And then you trained for it. And now it's here. Open your eyes. You did it. No matter what happens from this day forth, when you leave this parking lot, you did it, and that is something that you should always be proud of. Not only did you do it, you did it in a time that no one else has ever been able to do anything. You survived a year and a half of complete confusion, separation, division, loss of hope, grief, war, elections, global, all the things, and you did it. You have to understand every day that not many people have had to go through what you went through as you were learning about life. It is important to remember that. You're brave, and you did a really, really good job. So before I say anything, my biggest concern in school was like what I was gonna wear like on a date after class. I was like, what am I gonna wear? Okay. So commencement speeches are very interesting. You have a complete stranger speaking at you after you've worked so hard, and you're like, who is this rando giving me advice? So I like to always tell a little bit about myself before giving away such advice, yes? So here are the reasons that I like to speak and to talk to young people. I learned a lot of stuff in this business, and the most important thing I've learned, especially over the last 3 years, is gratitude, taking a breath, and understanding the importance of having fun, and the most important mantra ever, 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 I am enough. So here's me. My name is Vasti Monpoint. I am the daughter of 2 Haitian immigrants. Okay, ça passe. My parents wanted to give my sister and I a better life, and they did. I got everything I needed and everything that I wanted, and it's why I'm here today. I lived in a house of laughter, joy, and celebration. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was younger, and it became very clear as academics started becoming more important and not just glue and paste that wasn't gonna happen. My family moved from North Carolina when I was 10 years old, and we moved from a neighborhood that was diverse before diverse was even a thing, to moving to a place where we were not only the only black family in town, but also the only immigrants in town. I immediately felt alone. I barely graduated high school. I like to say that extra tutoring helped and hunkering down and a can-do attitude helped, but it got to a point where my parents and my teacher saw how hard I was working, and we all decided that academics might not have been the thing that was gonna get me through this life. I spent my time in the dance studio. I started dancing seriously because I actually ran track for a long time, and my track coach wanted me to take dance to help me with the hurdles. I started taking dance more seriously and stayed there. And when I tearfully went to my track coach expecting her to be heartbroken that I left, she was like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I wasn't that great, but I had a can-do attitude. Despite my love for it, I was not the strongest dancer, and from the very beginning, I had to take extra dance classes just to keep up with my level. I didn't make my high school musical. It was Once Upon a Mattress, and it still hurts. I started taking acting classes my junior year of high school, And I wasn't great, so I asked my teacher always for extra learning material and how I could improve. I never, ever, ever felt fear over I wanted to be, despite all of that. I knew I wanted to be an artist. And despite being the last person in my graduating class of my friends to get a job, I knew that this was still what I wanted to do. I saw movies like Fame, Tap, Chorus Line, and of course Annie, and knew that I wanted to be in New York. One day, I saw a brochure for AMDA, and I knew that's where I wanted to be. I didn't even apply to any other schools. And that is when my life started to change. So how does someone like me give advice to 30-plus graduates who are about to go on to 30-plus completely different paths? Your journey actually started the moment you decided that this was what you wanted to do. When you leave this lot, you're just turning the page in a new chapter. And I just want to give you some advice to add to the footnotes of your book. Before we go there, let's go backwards. How did I get here on this stage? Well, before I was here, I was a hardcore New Yorker. About a year ago, last time I was giving this speech, and before the world changed, I finished wrapping the movie The Prom, from Netflix. I did the Prom on Broadway, and when I moved here, the director asked me to be part of the film because simply I was here. I was simply here because I applied for the CBS Sketch Comedy Showcase, where out of 5,000 participants, I was selected out of 20 to write and perform sketch comedy with CBS. Thank you. I'm not just bragging, there's a reason for this. Maybe 5 minutes before I got the call from CBS that I got the job, I turned to my husband tearfully and I said, I need a change. And they called, and we moved here. I sat on the couch tired and crying because I had just been through a very, very huge change in my life. I'd had a surgery because before that, I had almost died 5 months earlier. Before my healthcare situation, I had done 43 shows, 8 Broadway shows. I danced with Michael Jackson. I did cartoon shows. I opened a business. I worked with autistic kids. I lived in one of the hardest cities in the world, and still, I did not think I was doing enough. I was in a constant state of blind movement and self-doubt. I hadn't been feeling good for years, mentally or physically. My stomach would hurt all the time. I would cry all the time, and for someone like me who never cried and was taught not to, really, that was a big deal. I remember the conversation I had with my doctor when he said that they found something suspicious. It was right before a matinee of a show that I was doing at the time. And he said, hey, Vasi, we need you to come back in. We have some issues with your MRI. And I was like, oh, wow, that sounds serious. So here's the thing, I have a matinee. And he was like, what? And I was like, I have a matinee for a show, so I can't come in for your little test. And also, I have a callback. Ooh. So I won't be able to come back in. And he was silent, and I was like, maybe he doesn't know what a callback is. And I was like, so a callback is when you go to an audition, and you nail it, and they ask you to come back, so callback, yeah? And he looked at me, and I was like, should I change the appointments? And he said, you should change the appointments. And so I had this surgery, and I got all this poison out of my body. And it was great. I was very happy. A few months after my surgery, as I was recovering, the visitors started to thin out. And it was at that time that I was alone. And I realized that I hadn't been alone or had stopped or had taken a breath since I was wearing one of these. I wasn't appreciating anything around me. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and my body broke down. Because I wasn't looking at all the things that I was doing. It was never enough. I was like, more. How can I do more? How can I do more than that person? How can I do more than that person? And I never stopped to appreciate my friends, my family, and the very miracle of just being here on this planet. It is so important that no matter what goals you have, to always remember to put yourself and your mental and physical health first, because that just makes you a better artist, and it just makes everything way more fun. So why am I telling you this story? Well, my fellow artist freaks, There are going to be days where a lot of beautiful things happen to you. And there are going to be days where a lot of not beautiful things happen to you. But it is important to feel every single one of them and to not cover them up with vices and to really just be there because you are stronger than you think and you deserve to celebrate, just like these people above me are doing right now as they're flying to their place they're going to go. I never took time to tell myself, hey, you're great. And I missed all the successes that I had. When COVID took over our world in the last year, I lost almost everything that had made me sick. The money that I'd saved, the businesses that I created were all gone. So then why did it happen? And what did I have to show for it? Now that you know me a little better, I'm going to give you a few pieces of my favorite advice. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with this song called the Sunscreen Song by Mary Schmidt. And at the beginning of the speech, she says, to the class of 97, wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it, because advice is a form of nostalgia, and dismissing it is a way of fishing the past from disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth. But trust me on the sunscreen. So, here's my advice to you. Number 1, eyes on your own page. Comparison and jealousy will hold you creatively hostage and can rob you of being your magical, unique self. I know it's hard, and I know it's hard to believe, but there is no one else like you on the planet. Nobody. Nobody with your experiences and your life. And being you and who you are is going to bring you further than you'll ever think. I got sick of, a friend of mine, Daniel Watts, got sick of hearing me complain about my jealousy of the people around me. And he said, there is a thin line between comparison and jealousy and admiration. It's very thin. So when you feel that jealousy, always go to the latter, yeah? Because you can be inspired by someone without wanting their exact life. Because let me tell you, it's not gonna happen. Casting is a puzzle that you will never understand, and it is not about you. While the person beside you got something will never make sense to you, and if you try to understand it, you'll go nuts. And it's why most people leave the business. They don't understand that. It is not about you. Your job when you walk into the room is to create a relationship with the casting department, with creative team, with everyone you meet. Those are the people that are going to help you along the way so that when there is a part for you, they'll immediately think of you and know that it's you, and you didn't have to compromise anything. When you walk into the room, you have to know that you are amazing, whether they liked you or not. When you leave the room, you have to believe that you are amazing, whether they like you or not. I say that because if you book a lot of jobs and base your self-worth on what they think, it's the same thing as basing your self-worth on if they think you're not good. You are the same person that walked in, and you are amazing. Number 2, show up on time. This doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but let me tell you, your parents are clapping and snapping. Show up on time. It is way more important than you think it is, and everyone is watching you. That is crazy to think of, but yes, you are always being watched. During your 10-minute breaks, during all the things, you are being watched, and they're watching the kind of artist you are. So be on time. Number 3, Nair Waid, one of my favorite poets, once said, when creating, be kind to your doubt. Hear it out, thank it for its concern, and reassure it that you're an artist and risk is essential. Rehearsal is the most vulnerable time in your life. Practicing for auditions is vulnerable. All of that stuff is vulnerable. Push past it. It is a part of what we do. Auditioning is a part of what we do. Make it joyful, because it ain't going nowhere, unfortunately. Number 4, do not stop taking class when you leave this parking lot. There is so much to learn in this world, and although you learn a lot here, there is so much more to learn. Do not stop learning, and do not let your ego ever make you think that you are done learning. You live in a world where you can get information at the drop of a hat. Is it drop of a hat? Is that right? At the drop of a hat. And it's important to understand that while that information is there is nothing like sitting in a classroom and learning from someone in front of you. Respecting your elders is so important, because although it might seem like you know everything, sometimes you have to trust that there are people that have been here longer and they might have more insight sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that they're always right, but it is important to listen and to listen to each other. Number 5, don't be mean. Simple, yes, but you're in a business where everyone knows who you are. It is way smaller than you think, and reputation means everything. Not just to your castmates, to your dresser, to the crew, to everybody, because they all talk and everyone knows. Plus, being nice is just way nicer. If it's up to you and another person, and it's about being nice, they're gonna pick the person that's nice, because they don't wanna be in a room with someone who's not, yeah? It might be tempting or justified to be jealous of your understudy or to think you're not doing enough in the show, but you always are, I promise you, and you'll get to where you get when you need to get there. There'll be times where you won't be able to brag about what you're doing and other people around you will be, and that's just how it is, which means you must limit your time on social media. I get it. I come from a generation that grew up without social media, but I also grew up in a generation that is involved in social media. I understand life without both. And while social media has been an amazing tool at expanding our minds and connecting people, it also is the cause of amazing division. We're all more aligned than we think we are. We all want happiness. We all want to be safe. We all want to feel love. Don't let outside forces make you think that this whole world is terrible and that every human is terrible. Because the thing about text is that it's black and white, and the world is not black and white. It's squiggles, it's colors, it's shapes, and it's so much bigger than scrolling down. Don't let your self-worth be based on someone liking something that you created. Create it anyway. Even if 5 people like it, do it, exist it, make it work. Some of you are gonna have to work harder than others for various reasons. That could be race, that could be gender, that could be finance, that could be a variation of things. You must not give hope, and know that even though it's not fair, that sometimes it's not fair, but you're not alone, and the world is changing. And even though you can't change the world like that, every day it gets better and better and better. And every time you stand up for the person beside you and stand up for yourself, you are making a change. And you have to believe that. You deserve to be here. If you don't see what you like and you don't see yourself out there, make it yourself. And if you're not that kind of person, attach yourself to people that make things themselves. Because you can wait a long time for people to see you. I grew up not feeling seen as a first-generation American, as a black woman, as all different kinds of things. So I started doing it myself, and everything changed. Your voice is important. Even if so many people are doing the same thing, even if you read a thought that you already had, your voice is still important. Scream it out. Scream it, even though it feels like sometimes you're screaming to a void. And again, that'll help if you avoid social media. Your tribe, your family over here. For those of you who are lucky to have family here, I don't think you understand how lucky you are. Your family is your rock. They believe in you. They spent money on you. That's why you're here. They're sitting in the sun. They're like all blind now. They're all gonna have like sunburns. They love you. And I know that might be something that seems like it's whatever, but let me tell you, it is a gift beyond anything you could possibly imagine. To have people that love you that much, that care for you that much. Hold on to that. You'll need it in the journey. And if you don't have that, and no matter what, you will have a chance to choose your chosen family. And they will be your tribe, and they will change your life. Make sure you surround yourself around people that celebrate you, that don't make you feel bad for your accomplishments, and who cry with you when you're like, I'm not doing well, because those are the people who will help you with your self-tapes. Nobody should ever make you feel bad at succeeding. So if they do, then I strongly urge you to gently and lovingly walk away. Don't forget to play, have fun, make mistakes, fall on your face, get lost, fall in love, get your heart broken. Do ridiculous things because it's gonna happen anyway, and playing it safe is not gonna stop you from the pain of the world. So just do it and do it big, and it's such an adventure. Just do it. Yeah, freedom. There is a great thing that happens when you realize that nobody is ever going to be satisfied with what you do and who you are. And that creates a freedom. Because no matter what you do, you're going to make someone mad or upset. So just do it anyway. And do it big, and do it loud, and do it proud. Don't let what other people think about you stop your creative flow and who you are. That is what people will hire. That is what people want to work with. Do not let them silence you. If you're moving to New York, remember to take breaks and to let the constant pulse that that city has not make you scream, but create. And make sure you get time alone and check in with yourself. If you stay in LA, enjoy the relaxing vibe, but don't let that stop you from creating and socializing. If you live here, you must create your own pulse. If you don't go to either of those places, you get to spread art in the places that honestly need it the most. Art is not limited to the two coasts, and some of the most beautiful experiences I've had in this business have not taken place there. No one really knows what they're doing. And there's something great about that. We're all kind of faking it and just taking it one day at a time. I mean, we're in a graduation in a parking lot that they literally like, all right, let's do this, because everyone just grabbed themselves about it, and that's what this last year and a half has been about. We're all just taking it one day at a time. So, just do it anyways. I think that your generation is so fascinating. I thought you were fascinating before this all happened, for many reasons. You see the world way bigger than most of us did. I saw the world of what was right in front of my face, directly in front of my face. You see it so much bigger. You know that you're not alone in who you are, and that creates an empathy that can honestly change the world. It's not fair that we are giving you a world that is basically on fire and saying, here, do something with it. Here, uncertainty. Here, with all the problems. And that's not fair, but I really do believe you can do it. You have something that most generations don't have. You have a humbleness. And because of the last year and a half, it's even bigger, because you understand that life is not always convenient and doesn't go as planned. And believe it or not, that is going to help you so much. You have the power to change the world. I strongly believe that. Cancel culture is a very appealing thing, to cut someone off for not believing exactly what you believe in. But you have to understand that as a human being, you will change so many times. And you have to forgive yourself for making mistakes. And in that, you have to forgive the person beside you. Because you have to give people a chance to learn. And as it is a case-by-case subject, if you wouldn't want anyone to cancel you for sometimes thinking a wrong thing, then sometimes I think it's important to lend that to your fellow man. We're all doing our best, most of us. And if you're really trying to change the world, then that's what it's going to take. And it's uncomfortable to change, and it's uncomfortable to not know what's going on, but it's important to sit in that uncomfortableness. I believe in hope. I really do. I'm not sure if you've read about what's going on in Haiti right now, but every day I suffer from extreme first-generation guilt, and I ask myself, why me? Why do I get to be here? Why do I get to accomplish these things when people are being deported and presidents are being assassinated? Why me? Why do I get to survive here? This country is a great country. I strongly believe that. I have a complicated relationship with this country because no matter what I feel about anything, it saved my life. Anything can be accomplished here. The American dream is a beautiful one, and it's one to treat with caution, because it also makes you feel like accomplishing the smallest thing isn't enough, and it is. The formation of America was a complicated thing, but we can change everything from here on. And you do that through your art. It might seem like this is so ridiculous and so unimportant, But during the pandemic, what I saw everyone turn to was art. What you do is important. Don't ever, ever, ever forget that. Your ancestors are so proud of you. They're standing in awe of you. They are clapping for you. Everyone is rooting for your generation. We know you have it hard. We're rooting for you, and we honestly believe you can do it. So how did I get here today? I got sick. And when I got sick, I realized that I wanted to find a new form of art to write, and I wrote. Writing led me here. Leading me here has led me to so many different opportunities. And I never gave up. Because at your lowest point, you never know where it can lead you. When you're in your dark place, turn to the people who love you. Turn to your friends, turn to your tribe, and know that you are so special. And art is medicine. So basically today, you just graduated from med school. They're like, yeah! Rock on! So my graduates, can you please close your eyes again? Do you remember that day that you wanted to do this? When you listened to that cast recording and danced around your room, and when you read that monologue from the movie that you'd heard over and over and over again, bugging your parents to take class, missing birthday parties, all of that led you here. Congratulations, you did it. Don't ever forget your journey and how brave you are. You are warriors, and you've made it through what is already a hard business in a world that is so crazy right now, and you did it. Open your eyes. You're amazing. Congratulations to the class of 2021. You are some of the most important people in the world right now. Go out and make some magic and have an adventure.
This is a time for hugs and kisses, but we're not doing that at the moment. I think you were just witness to the best speech we've ever had here. And fortunately, it's on tape, and it can become your Bible. You can turn to a verse each day. Vasti, that was amazing. Thank you. Now, not forgetting her admonitions about the sun. A few things left. I want to address the faculty and staff. When you signed up for this gig, was the last year and a half in your job description? No. One searches for words, and one has to be careful. There are only so many. But I know what you've done. We know what you've been through. Amazing. We'll have to address that again and later. And finally, I heard somebody clapping at the back when Vasti said, respect your elders. All artists need love and support. They cannot do it alone. And your love and support, your courage, and your steadfastness have brought these people this far, and they will continue to depend upon you. I don't know how they can thank you with a lifetime, but for them, for what it's worth, thank you. And now I think it's time to get this moving and to do the deed. Oh, yeah, thank you. So.
perfect. It's perfect. I'm good.
Hi.
Albertina Barbosa. Alexia Biggers. Vashon DeVille. Samantha Dunn. Diamante Gent. Kennedy LeBlanc. Katarina Joy Lopez. Hope Maloney. Maddie Rain McNeil. Genesis Rivera. Carolyn Rose Singletary. Darianne Williams. Lauren Wiltz. Those graduates were awarded the AOS degree. And now, for those being awarded the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. Adriana Aguilar. Arela Anderson. Andre Altman. Marissa Bodie. Sophia Bragar. Zoya Kelsey Ray. Issa Campbell. Peyton Chella. Javez Charles. Alexis Chavez. Joseph Christian Concha. Jordan Crawford. Samantha Cullifer. Jordan Davis Miller. Victoria Doors de Castro. Brianne Mackenzie Dudra. Angel Duque. Jaquin McKenna Einbinder. Angela Gerasi. Riley Marie Glass. Hafela Gonsalves. Madison Paige Greppo. Tucker Hara Ferguson. Harper Jewel Harris. Toby Rose Hinners. Valentina Hirschson. Joseph Hoover. Sophie Ilona Inglis. Moriah Faith Jackson. Brianna Joyce. Karen Kim. Ronnie King. Amado Xavier Lambert. Kennedy Danielle Leathers. Natalie Lilova Eusti. Bethany Lyon. Natalie Marin. Zaven Justice McCarty. Zach McDonald. Roy Miller. Morea Catherine Muzon. Rachel Marie Rose Malali. Leo Murphy. Zachary Ophil Jackson. Hold on. Roshan Owens. Kishuna Peanut Parker. Carlotta Carrington Redden. Sarah Joy Reed. Elijah Roberts. Marissa Dove Rothstein. Madison Christine Rotolo. Casey Ryan. Karen Marie Santos. Aisha Cisse. Mitchell Smith. Maya Danielle Southers. Isabel Trujillo. David Underwood III. Riani Vasquez. Danielle Elizabeth Wiles. Patricia Maisel Williams. Princess Williams.
Well, are you ready? By the authority vested in me by the state of California, I award you the Associate of Occupational Studies and the Bachelor of Fine Arts degrees. You may move your tassels. Congratulations to you, to you, to you, and to Vasti, our deepest thanks for this brilliant delivery. To all of you, remember, this is your forever home. You're welcome always, both here and in New York. Bye.